modern Western world, the thought of magical practices and curses seem ridiculous. Most people would associate a belief in curses to Harry Potter movies and the times of the tragic witch burnings where all misfortune was blamed on a town or village recluse. Yet if you visit other areas of the world, such as Africa or New Orleans, the talk and belief in curses is common practice, and a lot of people will claim to have been a victim or known someone fall victim to black magic or curses. So from a cursed car that killed James Dean, to an island where every business venture seems to come to a tragic end, here is a list of some of the strangest accounts of curses. The Curse of Julia Brown. Julia Brown was a voodoo priestess who lived in a small town called Frenier in Louisiana near New Orleans. She seemed to work as a successful medicine woman, and locals would frequently go to her when they or their family was sick rather than travelling into New Orleans to see a doctor. She was also known to sit on her porch in the evenings playing guitar and singing songs she had written. As well as being a healer, Julia was also known to accurately predict things which were about to happen. The problem started when Julia started to feel harassed and taken for granted by all the people that wanted something from her. She started telling people about any hardships she saw coming their way as a payback to them coming to her. People also started hearing her sing a disturbing song on her porch, where she would repeat the line, "One day I'm gonna die, and I'm gonna take all of you with me." Julia died on September 28, 1915. A lot of people attended her funeral as they were frightened that something bad might happen to them if they didn't show their respect. During the funeral, a huge storm and hurricane came out of nowhere and ripped through the whole of Louisiana, killing over 300 people and killing all but 2 people in Frenier, which made Julia's song spookily accurate. James Dean's cursed Porsche Spyder. Hollywood actor James Dean famously died in a car crash on 30th of September 1955 at the tender age of 23. Due to the intensity of the crash, the car was declared a write-off by Dean's insurance company. The company did, however, sell all of the wreckage parts to a car racer called Dr. William Eckrich through a salvage yard in Burbank, California. Eckrich went on to put some of the Spyder's parts into his own race car. It is thought that he sold the rest of the parts to George Barris, who customized cars. In 1956, Barris claims that a man called Dr. McHenry died when first racing a car which contained the Spyder's engine after it spun out of control and hit a tree. Interestingly enough, Eckrich was also in this race, and his car, which contained the drivetrain from the Spyder, also crashed and rolled, although he survived. Barris had also sold 2 of the Spyder's tyres to another man who claims that both tyres burst simultaneously, causing the car to swerve off of the road. Barris decided not to sell any more of the car parts as the car seemed to be cursed. He decided to try and rebuild the car as best as he could from what was left. At some point, he decided it would be safe enough to loan the reconstructed car to the California Highway Patrol for a highway safety exhibit. However, he was wrong. The garage where the car was stored mysteriously caught fire and burned to the ground. The car was then moved to a high school exhibition where it fell off of its stand and injured a student's leg. While being transported away, the truck carrying the car lost control and the driver was killed after being crushed by the Spyder after it rolled off of the back of the truck. The car fell off of 2 more transport trucks when the Highway Patrol tried to move it, but fortunately no one else was hurt. They subsequently decided to give it back to Barris in 1960. Now this is where it gets really confusing. The car seems to have vanished after being transported back to Barris. He said it was sealed in a boxcar and shipped back to Los Angeles, although the boxcar was empty on arrival, and to this day no one is entirely sure what happened to the remains of the infamous Porsche Spyder. Gaiola Island. Gaiola Island is a beautiful minor island of Naples, Italy. It is littered with ancient Roman relics and a temple to Venus. It is thought that Virgil, who was known to be a magician, taught here at the ruins. At the beginning of the 19th century, a hermit known only as the Wizard inhabited the island, and some suggest it was him who cursed the island, although it's not known why. Shortly after this, a villa was constructed on the site. Despite its idyllic look and location, the island has brought misfortune and death to all who have privately owned it, making many believe in the curse. In the 1920s, a Swiss man named Hans Braun bought the villa, and shortly afterward he was found murdered and wrapped in a rug. His wife then drowned at sea. The villa's next owner was a German named Otto Grumbach, who died of a heart attack while staying on the island. The next owner was a pharmaceutical industrialist called Maurice Ives Sandoz, who committed suicide in a mental hospital in Switzerland. Next, a German steel industrialist, Baron Karl Paul Langheim, bought the villa, and his business then went bust. Another owner was Gianni Agnelli, who was also head of the car company Fiat. His only son then committed suicide. Because of his son's death, Gianni had decided his nephew Umberto Agnelli could run Fiat, but Umberto also died of a rare cancer at the young age of 33. It amazingly doesn't stop there. The billionaire Paul Getty's grandson was kidnapped after he purchased the island, and the island's last owner was jailed when his insurance company failed. It's probably just as well that today the villa is uninhabited and abandoned, and the island is now owned by the Campania region of Italy, and it's protected as a marine area. The Curse of the Pharaohs. It has long been alleged that the ancient Egyptians put a curse on anyone who would later disturb the mummy of an Egyptian, and specifically those who disturb the mummy of a pharaoh. The curses are said to bring bad luck and death to anyone involved. Zahi Hawass is a famous Egyptologist, ancient archaeologist, and former Minister of State for Antique Affairs in Egypt. He claims to have had nightmares of two small spirits attacking him while transporting the mummies of two young children, and the dreams did not stop until the children's remains were put back with the mummy of their father. He had several runs of bad luck and saw the death of several relatives on anniversaries of him disturbing and transporting Egyptian mummies and artifacts. He now believes that mummies should not go on display, although it is considered a lesser evil than letting tourists enter tombs. Perhaps the most famous example of the Curse of the Pharaohs is the Curse of King Tutankhamun. Howard Carter and his team opened Tutankhamun's tomb on February 16, 1923. No curse was found written in the tomb. However, rumours of a curse began as Carter had sent a messenger to run an errand to his house on the day he opened the tomb, and the messenger found Carter's canary dead in the mouth of a cobra. The cobra is the symbol for Egyptian royalty, so this was seen as an angry message from the dead pharaoh. Lord Carnarvon, the financial backer of the project, who was present when the tomb was opened, also died from an infected mosquito bite within 6 weeks of opening the tomb. Some say that all the lights went out in Cairo at the moment Carnarvon died, and also that Tutankhamun had a gash on his face in the same place where Carnarvon had been bitten, but this cannot be verified. There is a modern-day explanation for the strange deaths and side effects associated with the opening of tombs. Some scientists suggest it could be related to bacteria or radiation exposure. Others think that there is nothing to any of it at all and put it down to people's belief bias. I'm not sure I would want to find out either way. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next Mystery Sphere video.